go ahead and get started. Are we good, Miss Wilson, on your end? Okay. Wanted to welcome everybody to our webinar on the course selection process for this next school year. It's very hard to believe that it is already upon us to start thinking about the 25-26 school year. But we like to kind of just get information out early so that if you have questions, you have plenty of time to answer and ask us questions, and and then we can get you all going for next year. So we're going to go ahead and start out with our prayer. So if you'll bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for being with us today as we talk about the course selection process for the upcoming school year. We thank you for always looking over us and guiding us down the path you have chosen for us to follow. In your name we pray, amen. All right. My name is Miss Vogler, and I am one of the counselors here at Enlightium. My alpha split is A and L through M. So I know it's kind of a weird alpha split, but if that's your last name, I'm your counselor. But at the end, you'll have your list of counselors that you can look at. Miss Wilson is the counseling assistant, so she is doing all the technical stuff. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, if you will either chat Miss Wilson or chat myself, then we can go ahead and answer your questions at the end. All right. Okay, so the timeline. So the course selection process window will be open from April through June. You can still make changes over the summer if needed, but we want to make sure that we get started on it early enough so that, we just want to make sure that when school starts, you have everything set and you don't have any issues to worry about. Okay, so there's a couple of things to think about as you're, working with your counselor on your course selection. So we have, what is the difference between an honors diploma and a standard diploma? Because many times we'll have students say, well, I want to do an honors diploma, but what's involved or whatever. So the standard diploma meets the Washington state requirements. So Enlightium, you can receive a diploma from Enlightium, but the requirements are based upon Washington state where Enlightium is located. So make sure that you do check with your state for any specific requirements. I haven't come across a whole lot of states that do have some, but I know that there are some out there that require parents to go ahead and send an extra documentation or make sure that you take certain classes so that you meet whatever the state requirements are. So make sure you check into that. Also note that you do not need to take a world language credit if you're on the standard diploma plan. If you are wanting to or considering at all even applying into a four-year college right after high school, then you definitely will need to have 2 years of the same world language. So, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If you're not sure and you're like, okay, I have no clue what I want to do when I grow up. Sorry, cat. No idea what I want to do when I grow up. You still might want to go ahead and take it because it's better to have it than to not have it. All right, for the honors diploma, you do not have to take honors courses in order to receive an honors diploma, but you do have to meet these requirements. You must have a 3.5 grade point average and complete all of your community service hours to be eligible. So as you know, you do have to record your community service hours in your mobile serve account, and you do need 10 hours for each year that you were enrolled with Enlightium. But if you came in like at the semester, then it'd be 5 hours for that semester. But you can check with your counselor and make sure you're getting that. Also, you do have to meet certain credit requirements, which include 4 credits of math and 4 credits of science. And all of this is in the knowledge base. You can always go in and look and review all that if you would like to. Okay, you can also choose between dual enrollment, AP courses, and honors level courses. If you are considering doing dual enrollment, we did a webinar on this last month, but you can also get with your counselor as well. You do have different opportunities, like as a freshman, there are some places that you can take some dual classes at, but typically our juniors and seniors take dual classes. But again, if you're interested in that, see your counselor. And dual enrollment is basically where you're taking the class at the college level, and you can get credit both at Enlightium and at the college as long as everything matches up. The next opportunity is the AP courses. These are advanced placement, and we do offer certain subjects in advanced placement level. And with an AP course, you take the course. It is a college level based course, but you're taking it at Enlightium, with your high school courses. And then these classes run almost a year. And then in May, you are eligible to go ahead and take the AP exam. Then if you make a certain score on the AP exam that matches to the subject that you're looking at in college, you could possibly get college credit. So the AP courses, it's not guaranteed college credit, but it gives you an opportunity especially if you feel like you're a good tester. Some students take the course and don't do the test, and that's perfectly fine as well. And then we also have the honors level courses. And honors level courses, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Honors level courses are taught at a little bit of a higher level. So you may have more projects or more I don't want to necessarily say more work, but it's really going to be more in depth and, analytical. So if you're really strong in a subject and you're like, you know what, let me go ahead and try it, you're welcome to sign up for it. And if you say that, you get into it after a couple of weeks and you're like, this is just way too much for me, let your counselor know. We can always move you back down to the regular course and transfer over whatever progress you made in the honors course. So you're not going to lose anything. So, definitely feel free to try one if you feel confident enough in doing that. And, but if you're doing this for the first time, make sure that, again, you stay in touch with your counselor and let the counselor know if you have any issues at all. If it's, things are starting to get too hard or whatever. Okay, so this is an example of what your course planner is going to look like. Obviously, everybody's will be different based upon the classes that they're in. Okay, so I guess if you'll click on the link, let's see if it'll come up. Okay, very good. Okay, so on the first page, you'll have your name, where you're from, and all that. And typically under the counselor comments, we will go ahead and add in something like, please review your course planner. If you need to select a certain elective, we'll mention it in there. If you'll notice where it says helpful links on your course planner, there will be a section for the high school electives. So a lot of times we need you to pick a fine arts elective and you're like, well, I don't know where to find them. Just click on that link and it'll all pop up. So you'll have the list to look at. And then there's going to be the webinar we did on dual enrollment will be in there. There's a link for the courses that include an add-on fee. Do you have some courses that require maybe extra materials or just have an extra cost, so you can look at that. The absence form, the school calendar, community service web page, and then a link to this webinar will be on there as well if you have questions. So when you click on the next tab, the course planner at the bottom, this will pull up your course planner for for each year. We update everything and we have the list of the classes pre-populated into the planner. If you'll look at like your senior year, you'll see in the green where it says, please choose the 4th math, please choose the 4th science. This is for, especially if you're on the honors diploma, you will have to do this. If you're looking at applying straight into a 4-year college after high school, we definitely recommend doing this because most colleges do require this as, for looking at you for admittance, but obviously you would be checking with the college to make sure, but these are just recommendations we have. Usually your freshman year and your senior year, you do a fine arts course. The personal pathway is just a general elective. So if you need to select one of those, you just pick any elective off of the elective sheet. You don't have to worry about the category. The career and technical education, You have to have 1 credit of that, and you'll get that through taking the Zello classes. I know it says Naviance, but it just wasn't updated. But the Zello class gets you 0.25 credits. So by the time you finish as a senior, you'll have 1 full credit. If you've come into us after, like maybe after your freshman year or something, we'll work with you and see what other courses we need to add to make sure you reach that requirement. Okay, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped around here. So if we look here, so Bible, you have to have a year of Bible every year that you're enrolled in Enlightium. So if you're here all 4 years, you're going to have 4 years of Bible. If, for example, you came in and you only end up with like 2 years of Bible, if you come in as a junior, for example, then we'll have to make sure that we adjust all of your credits, because you have to have at least 22 credits in order to graduate with us. You have to have 4 years of English. And then we kind of touched on the math. You have to have 3 years of math, but look at the, the 4th math if you're, if you meet those other, if you're doing the honors or looking at college. History, you have 3 credits, and you usually will take one of the histories your freshman year, and then your sophomore year, you don't have a history. Some students like to go ahead and move their US history up, and that's fine. We just like to put it with the English 3, because US history, we have this American history, and then in English 3, you're going to be covering the American literature. So that does kind of help out a little bit. For math, okay, so we talked about that. For science, sorry about that. Again, you can choose the 4th science. You have to take biology, and you have to take a physical science class for sure. And then chemistry is usually the next course in line. And then we have other things that you can choose from for a 4th science. Fine arts, you need to have 1 credit as well. The personal pathway, we have down 1 credit if you are going to be following the regular academic plan. If you, like when you look at the world language, say that you take a world language and you end up with 2 credits in that column, then you wouldn't even have to worry about taking an extra elective, a general personal pathway, because you're meeting that with your world language. And then PE, you have 2 credits you have to fulfill. 1.5 of the credits are in the physical education category, and then half a credit is the high school health. So these are courses that that you have to take in order to get an Enlightium diploma. And then, like I said, the 4th math, 4th science, and the 2 world language classes, you have to have those if you are looking at the honors diploma, or if you're thinking about entering a 4-year college right after high school. So I know that gets to be a whole lot, but definitely reach out to us if you have questions, because we try to make it as clear as possible, but I know sometimes it can get kind of confusing. All right, so what do I do? So you're probably wondering, well, how do we get this ball rolling? You'll receive an email from your counselor with your course planner attached. We're currently in the process. If you have enrolled already for the next school year, we'll be going in the order that that you were enrolled, and we'll be creating or looking at your course planner and updating it, writing your notes. And then when we get to the point of sending them out, I would think probably the end of March, 1st of April, you'll get it emailed to you. And just make sure that you thoroughly review the planner and notify your counselor if there's any changes that you would like to make. Sometimes we have students that start out in like maybe Spanish for a world language. And then after a year, they're like, oh, I really don't like this language. I want to do a different one. That's fine. You just have to have 2 years of the same language if you're on the honors diploma, or you want to go straight to a 4-year college. So just make sure you go over your planner, and then let your counselor know if there are any changes. You'll probably have an elective to select, such as fine arts or CTE. Again, make sure you let your counselor know what you want to take. Usually, if we don't hear from you by end of July or so, we will go ahead and we'll pick something for you. So you may log in on the first day of school and be like, why do I have art appreciation? I am not an art person whatsoever. That's because you didn't let us know, so we picked a class for you. Um, so but you still can make a change at that time. It just makes it easier if we have everything, all in order before school starts. Okay, so every year we have new courses that are introduced. As of right now, I do not have a list of any of the new courses, but they will be added soon. And you'll be receiving an email with the new courses once they're finalized. Also, when you get your planner, hopefully when you click on the link of the electives, we'll have any new electives on there as well. And if not, if something comes out a little bit later, we will let you know, and then you can make any decisions. Just make sure that you do check in the knowledge base again for any of the course descriptions if you have a question. Okay, so where do I find a course description? So here's the link to do that. So you just would click on the link and you type in the class that you are interested in, and it will give you a very detailed description of the class. What are some of the projects that you will be doing in this class? Are there any additional costs? Do you have to buy any extra supplies or whatever? So you can look at all of that. Okay, that is a lot of information real fast. We will have this webinar available in a recording, pretty soon. But if you have any questions at this point, let me see. Do you have any questions on your end? Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so Ms. Wilson got a question, says, may I have a link to the slideshow? Yes, we will definitely have that all available probably within a week or two. So if you're not able to access it on the YouTube page, then just email your counselor and we can go ahead and get it, at least get the link for the slideshow sent out to you. Okay, how many credits do you need for an honors diploma? Okay, very good question. You'll need at least 22. Ms. Wilson, can we hop back to the planner? Okay, so on the planner, there you go, thank you. All right, so you have, for the regular diploma, you have the 22 credits. For an honors diploma, you'll add in an additional math, the additional science, and the 2 years of a world language. So that will give you then at least 26 credits. And you may have more than that, which is, perfectly fine. Sometimes, I think the most I've seen is like 33 credits, which is an awful lot, but sometimes people transfer in and have different classes that they've taken. So yeah, so you'll have around 26 credits, and that's just because we're adding in that math, science, and the world language. Okay, the next question. On my planner, it says it requires 24.25. Why is it different? I'm on a 3-year plan. Okay, so depending on which courses you've taken, every course is given a certain credit amount. So the 0.25, that probably comes from one of your CTE courses. So if you and everybody's number is going to be different. The main thing is that you have at least the 22 credits in the required classes for the academic diploma, or the 24 to 26 credits in the correct area for the honors diploma. And then I think you mentioned that you are a 3-year grad, and that is something that you are more than welcome to talk to your counselor about. We do have students that for some reason or another want to or need to get out of school faster, so we can kind of combine classes and everything. But this is something you need to talk to your counselor about as soon as possible. Don't wait until the end of your junior year or your senior year to say, you know what, I want to graduate early. There is a lot of planning that has to go into it, a lot of conversations that need to be had. So if that's something you're interested in, get with your counselor. Hey, there's some right there. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Those are the only three that we see so far. Okay, so again, just, as you're going through this process and meeting with your counselor, just let us know whatever questions you have. You may want to just, as you're thinking, just start jotting them down, and you can always send us an email or whatever. Okay, so here's another one. It says, can you transfer EA credits to another school? For the most part, everything you take at Enlightium, it should transfer to another public school. The Bible class, sometimes I'm in Texas, and I know in Texas they would try to count it towards an elective so that you didn't lose the credit. Some schools, every school is different. So if you're looking at going to a different school, get with the school that you're wanting to transfer to, and you can get a copy of your unofficial transcript from your counselor, and then they can kind of look at that and let you know where you'll be. But I basically, from looking at the classes that Washington State requires, I mean, it's pretty much, I really can't think of anything else, anything in the classes that would not be transferable. But again, make sure you check with the school. All right, do we have any others? Okay, well, if you think of anything, reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer your questions. I know this is very general and everybody's case is different. That's why we do the plan, because it is an individualized plan. We are working with you to get you graduated. All right. And then finally, your counselors, by now you probably have your counselor's email address or know who your counselors are. If not, you'll have this on here again. But I just can't say that enough. Just reach out to us if you have any questions. All right, and I believe that is probably it. And so we do want to thank you for spending your time with us today. And you just take some time to look at your plan when it comes in and let us know what we can do to help. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.